Broadcast live.
I'm trying. I done fucked up a few times. I done fucked up a few times. I'm a man, you know what I mean? I fucked up a few times.
I don't think that's, now you're gonna get girls crazy. Nah, that's not the excuse.
Fuck, bro. I mean, at the same time as men, we must also practice discipline and self-restraint. Just because a girl throws herself at you doesn't mean you have to catch her.
Of course.
You can turn it down respectfully. But you can still have respect.
But the reality is that I guess what you're saying is that like you acknowledging you make mistakes. You acknowledge you can't always like the word used is practicing self-restraint.
Yeah.
It's a practice.
It's a practice.
You know what I mean? You're not
daily.
perfect. Practice makes perfect.
Practice makes perfect, and eventually I'll get the hang of it.
Yeah.
But eventually I'll get the hang of it. I hope so, maybe.
Yeah.
Yo, but as a young man,
like
I'm just trying to navigate my way through without dying.
Yeah,
you know?
of course. With based on 1,000 mistakes, do you think that like coming to Joburg thinking you would get greener pastures was maybe one of the mistakes or learning areas that you could have done?
I don't think it was a mistake at all. I think Hillbrow, I say Hillbrow because that is where I based myself in Joburg. And I think that place also gave me a lot of, motivation and inspiration and it ignited a fire inside me that I needed to continue because in Cape Town I was starting to burn out. In Cape Town I was starting to get tired and I was starting to get frustrated with not seeing results and not seeing some sort of a finish line and a goal. Whereas when I came to Joburg, I was here for like 3 months and I could already see some sort of a difference. I could already see some sort of a change just by doing, Cool Out Balcony and featuring with Reason and doing Bump the Cheese Up remix and just by doing posts like Steelo with Steelo Magolita and Sleep is for the Rich and just by doing Way It Go with Nasty C and DJ Switch and I mean certain songs that set off my career and put it in motion, doing work with Pretty Ugly, doing work with Chad the Don, doing work with DJ Radix and Maraza, things like that all added to the catalog. It added more stars, on my shoulders, and now I'm proud to say that actually it wasn't a mistake at all. If anything, I do it exactly the same all over again.
Did Joburg almost feel like did you feel like a big fish and it became a small pond? And when you came to, Cape Town, did you feel like a big fish and it became a small pond once you ticked most of the boxes and you came to Joburg, and Joburg almost became like this big pond and you're a small fish and you literally had to just create more benchmarks essentially?
Like I'll quote something that DJ Azul told me. He said that, Cape Town has a glass ceiling and once you reach that ceiling, it's your decision if you're going to stay or if you're going to break through. And when he told me that, I was like, shit, I've hit the ceiling. As he said it, I realized I was conscious of the fact that I already touched the ceiling. And he was also trying to tell me that, like, I think you've exhausted your options here. And I think you need to think about maybe relocating, even though you don't want to do it. Like, they all did it. POC did it, Rasa van die Cubs did it, Black Noise must have done it. So at some point, I'm gonna have to follow the same. But it doesn't mean that you have to lose this and lose your identity and lose your morals and your beliefs that you built here. You can continue this there, and I didn't feel like I'm like a small fish when I got here. I just felt like I was a piranha and there was barracudas and there was koi fish and there were all different kinds of fish. I was just coming with a sharper and a more like, intense blade that needed sharpening, and I knew this was the place for me to come to in order to strengthen it, strengthen my movement.
I mean, blades sharpen each other, I guess.
Iron sharpens iron.
That's it. They're saying, diamond. What's your relationship with your mother and how does she feel about your achievements with all the adversity?
My mother is a legend! My Tani, my mother, she is a fucking goat. Greatest of all time. All our mothers. Our mothers, they are the backbone. I feel they are the spine, they are the heart. There's a beautiful phrase in the Quran that says, the gates of Jannah, which is heaven, are at your mother's feet. So that would only mean in order for you to attain heaven, you would have to bow down. Because at your mother's feet, by placing it at the feet, even means that you must bend yourself, strain yourself, submit yourself, go down and praise your mother, and when I heard that, I was like, shit, I need to do better as a son.
Yeah.
I need to do more for this woman. Because by that time I was already like 18, 19, 20 years old. So I'm like, shit, the gates of heaven are at her feet. Oh god damn, I gotta start learning how to cook. I have to clean the house more. I have to, you know what I mean? So there's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for her. There's nothing she wouldn't do for me. There's nothing she hasn't already done. I feel like she exerted herself for me.
How many of y'all are kids?
I'm the only child of my mother, but my father, there's 6 of us in total.
Oh, okay.
So I love my brothers, I love my sister as well.
Yeah.
You know, and my mother also allowed me to spend time with him and allowed me to form that relationship with my brothers and my sisters. They're my real brothers and sisters. When it comes from your father, that's your real brothers, you know?
Yeah.
So my brother, he works with YGN. He works for YGN. He's a partner in YGN. He makes my merchandise. So the caps that you see, the clothing you see, 3T and YGN, that's my brother's initiative, my big brother. You know, and having that family sense, like I said, by me rapping, I'm strengthening my family bond. I'm joining the ties that certain family members broke. I'm connecting it now as the son. And that's why I say I feel like this album has given tribute to my family. And my mother, I mean, she has her own song and they're the mother's child, the massacre. So I felt like it was right for me just to let her know how I feel, and I still feel that way. I'll never stop being a little boy, you know?
Yeah. I'll never ever hear an album that says to my colored sisters, well, you're my brown sisters.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you know, you are rapping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're rapping. You know what I mean? You're rapping. You're taking ownership, and you're not taking shortcuts on it. You know what I mean?
No.
Youngsta's got a song there for the brown sisters. You know,
Colored girls, bro.
the colored girls.
And
why was it important for you to really pull them out and just say, yo,
single them out? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I always feel like, and even me, I do it. Black is beautiful. We praise black queens because they deserve it. They deserve to be put on a pedestal, you know? And this album just highlights the colored narrative, which is the same thing as you said about our cultures. It's the same thing. We've been divided by our government so that they could divide and conquer. The best way for them to have taken over this land of ours was to create an enemy amongst its inhabitants. Create a mutual enemy. It first used to be the white man. During apartheid, we were fighting the same thing. Before that, we were living together. But because of that strength that we would have had, they had to separate us and create some sort of a tension between black people and colored people. Because we would have been too strong. And this land wouldn't have been able to be taken from us had we been united, you know? So for the women as well, I wanted to just let the colored girls that, I mean, I grew up in love with them.
Yeah.
You know? So I felt like I'd never heard a male voice, especially in hip hop. I mean, we're always very derogatory towards women.
Yeah.
You know? So I felt like I always wanted a song where I, you know, just big them up and let them know that yes, we're crazy and yes, we, you know, some of us want to grow up and be gangsters and we all think we're hardcore and shit. But at the end of the day, you are the ones that give us love.
Yeah.
You are the ones that make our hearts soft.
Yeah.
You are the ones that make our tone change. You are the ones that we'll write poems for and shit. And Valentine's Day, we're gonna buy you the fucking teddy bears and all that cut. So I wanted them to know that I appreciate them. And the title also just stems from the movie that Tyler Perry made for colored girls.
Yeah,
that has Queen Latifah and Alicia Keys and all of them in it. Like I felt like to jack that title would have been fine because he made it for black women because coloreds were black in America. That was the title and the term they were given. And coloreds here by us meant something else. So I knew that by me using that title, I could play on the fact that it was already a movie and on the fact that, you know, colored people are a different breed.
So just to talk about women, very important, and when we talk about history and how we've been divided, the whole idea about division is that, you see, if they can break our families, if they can get a man to undermine his woman, they can get a man to not be loyal to his woman, to not literally like be on, because when you're on the feet of your mother, which is like the gateway to heaven, you're literally on the feet of the woman you're gonna be with. You know, one-on-one.
The way you treat her is the way you treat your wife. Correct.
Exactly. So essentially, it's like, you know, the more they teach us that like it's soft to love, especially coming from the world you come from, the more we have broken families. The more we have kids who don't have fathers.
And once you have that divide, once you have that in the pyramid scheme, now you can destroy the whole, you know, the whole pyramid. You can break down everything.
And exactly. So when we don't have, the more kids who don't have fathers, who don't have mothers, who grow up with this, the easier they are to fall into the trap.
Yes.
I want to find out about Kham. What does Kham mean, man? You know.
So, as I broke down the tribes of colored people, what you guys know, what the black community and the white community know as colored people, you know the Kham colors. The ones with the no teeth, the ones with the big earrings, the taxi guys is screaming out, yes, why don't nobody kept that?
But I know you, but yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, is that now you're starting to get the variations. You're starting to get the different sectors.
There are levels of
There are levels, you know, but the most popular one, the one that most of
stereotype.
There we go. The stereotype colored guy is a Khambra. The one who comes from the Cape Flats, the one who basically perpetuates that cycle of the Cape Flats. And we spoke about the broken families now also. A lot of that stems from there. You know, once that happens, once you break down the family structure, it makes it easier for the child to come in late now, because dad is not disciplining. It makes it easier for the child to join a gang, because his dad is not warning him about that. His mommy can't do nothing because his mommy don't understand manhood. Father does. You know what I mean?
Let alone he's not submissive to mommy, which like mommy is the gateway to heaven.
There we go. So already now he doesn't listen to those lessons that she's trying to give him, because it's coming from a woman. It's coming from a woman in a place where masculinity is glorified. The stronger you are, the bigger you are, the less afraid you are, the less love you show, almost the more respected you are. You know?
Yeah.
And the Khambras is that. If you listen to it, I say it's a rite of passage in a different language from the deep Atlantic. I can't speak Hispanic. I become a failure, the rough teenager, it's the colored nature. You know what I mean? That aggression, that violence and that anger, that's the colored nature. That's what they want us all to become like. They want us all to be criminals and killers and go to prison, you know, but I'm hopefully breaking the cycle of that.
Do you feel that, like, and I'm saying this, it's just a side question. Do you feel that, and I feel that, but it's not my culture, I can't say shit about it. It is what it is. Do you feel that the unvert is sometimes misappropriating the colored culture? That's just my, I don't know. Or is it a real thing?
First thing I'm going to start off by saying is that I respect their hustle. I respect what they've done with South African hip-hop by putting our land and our identity at the forefront.
Yeah.
And
okay, shout out to that. I give them credit
I
for that
respect
too.
the hustle,
Yes,
you know what I mean? Because of the impact that it makes on the world. It makes them just turn an eye to South Africa and look at South Africa. Maybe not at Cape Town, but at South Africa.
Yeah.
So I'm pleased about that.
Because just by the way, I feel that they are perpetuating the Kham, as you would say.
Am I pleased with their methods? Fuck no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, many guys haven't spoken out about this.
I mean, I'm really, yeah, we're going to talk about it.
Many guys haven't spoken out about this.
Yeah.
You know? And I know their teachers, the unvoiced teachers, I know their teachers are authentic. I know their teachers, the masters of that, of Kham Fu, not Kung Fu, Kham Fu. Shout out my man Jets Fanger for that one. He was also a legend, bro. The guys who originated that style, the Garlic Browns and the Scallywags and the Isaac Newtons and the Jets Fungers and the Yemo Beers and all those guys, the Creams, the Jerome Rexes, all those guys, they are the masters of that shit. The stuff you see the Anwar do, they are the originators of it. But because of the fact that the colored identity, as Khama highlights, is considered to be so like confrontational and violent and aggressive, people are almost not able to consume it because of the fear they have of it. Because the fear is real when a colored brother comes to put a fucking gun in your face and tell you to get out of the car. And if you don't get out, then he actually shoots you.
Yeah.
Fuck the car.
Yeah.
You know? So that exists. That happens on a day-to-day basis. So if you have a colored guy who's rapping about that, rapping it to you in Cape slang, a guy that come from the Cape Flats telling you that shit, you get scared. It seems realer because it is real.
Yeah.
Because you know what he's saying, he mean that shit. Because he lived that shit.
Yeah.
If not, he's living in that shit. It's around him. When the unword says it,
It's entertainment.
it's entertainment, it's a theater, it's a character, it's a caricature. This just happens to be the character that worked, the character that paid off. Now by also highlighting the gang cultures as they do, this is a reality they didn't have to grow up with.
Of course, I mean.
They didn't have to grow up with it. Now to adopt it at the point when they did, I suppose it's fine, you know, it becomes you know, like a play almost for them, you know. But for my brasa that grew up as children, we played outside together, we rode bicycles together and kicked soccer balls. For me to see them become skombizos and chonalangas and robis, it's fucking mind-boggling how they dropped out of school. Some of them never went to school because this life seemed more alluring to them, and it seemed, you know, more entertaining to them because they wanted respect, they wanted money, they wanted status, they wanted to feel in power because they've never felt that way before, you know. So they lived it in a reality, and they're gonna die for it as well. Because once you take that number, there's no going out, bro. You can't tap out unless you find religion. And trust me, the Owens come check if you go to church. They come check if you go to mosque. If you say you're a spiritual man and you say you live in the number now for faith,
So
they're
you
gonna
see
come
like
check.
a number is in, obviously we're talking about the android, but like a number is in the number, whatever you claim from a...
The reason I'm bringing the numbers in because his tattoos represent the prison markings that gang members would have to carry in jail.
Right.
Now, I know for a fact also that you can buy those. There is Owens that verkoop the number, as they say, selling the number. This is why in my videos I'm very careful what I depict, and I get permission first. Now even they can do that. They can also get the permission, and they can pay off whoever they have to. So even some of these gangsters would allow them to use it, to use that image. But are the gangsters going back and claiming anything? Are they actually receiving any money now still? Are they receiving any, you know, benefit and praise? I don't know. Is the envoy bigging up, you know, the guys that's allowing them to showcase this to the world? I don't know. But from my side, that's the only problem I have with it. I have a problem with the fact that colored people have to suffer just for being colored. And then a white group can come along and literally hijack that whole identity, sell it, and we don't even get upset about that. And we're not even speaking out about that. It doesn't bother us. Instead, they want to raise me that I must stop what I'm doing, and that I mustn't say certain things, that I mustn't say naya, and I mustn't say this and that. But this man can say your master puss in a fish paste jar, and that's fine. We've never ever brought that up. We've never mentioned the prison tattoos. We've never ever mentioned, you know, the gangsterism image that they have actually became multi-millionaires off. And yet if we do it, we will actually be, you know, burnt for it.
Self-hate.
We'll be hung for that shit. A colored man will never be successful off of trying to sell the world colored culture. That is what we've been made to believe. But a white man, maybe even a black man, maybe for them it can work. And we've seen it work for the white man already, because the Antwoord is the biggest export from South Africa. And I'm not, like I say, I respect the hustle. I respect the moves, because it's something that I couldn't achieve it. You know what I'm saying? Being with Kanye West, being with Travis Scott, that's not me. But it's not something that I hate them for. I just wish that we, as colored people,
you know what it is? I mean,
addressed it.
I know you say maybe the black, because you still see colored people as in black. You know, black people can act like they got shit, but they don't have shit. They just like colored people. So let's just get that out the way. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's as simple as you taking oranges or beer or like sugar cane, and when you are doing it as a black person, it's literally not good. And then a big company globally takes that beer and puts it in a can and packages it, and then boom, it's good.
Now it's good enough.
What we are experiencing for me with the Antwoord is exactly history repeating itself in culture, where, you know, we've been saying we run the land.
Yeah.
We've been saying we've got this.
Yeah.
But all the time we say that, we're not the ones that commercialize it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like everyone that's literally taking out chickens, that's literally taking out food, gold, everything, and sold it back to us.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that's happening right now, that like, here's a culture. We're rich in culture. Here's a culture, the colored culture. As much as you guys say, yo, that's ham or whatever the case, but here's a culture. And someone
valuable.
Someone else is literally gone,
Someone
I think
stood
I
next
can...
to it and saw and like, oh, this is good. I should use this, because they're not.
And I will be 100 with you. I don't have any issues with Wadi. He used to call himself Wadi Max Normal.
Yes,
I mean,
I've heard.
He went to school with Lebu, like Smacks at NSA. Very good school. This guy's life was... There's nothing wrong with his life. There's nothing wrong with this. There's never been anything wrong with his life. I've just always watched the Antwoord and asked myself, I wonder what colored people feel about this.
They've never said a motherfucking word about it.
Wow.
And if they are being paid off, maybe that's the reason. Look, I know that now the antwoord is almost doing like some damage control, where they're starting to try and sign colored guys. And have them be under the antwoord's label and bring up almost like their own little colored army. And I know at some point, like, you know, colored guys are definitely going to join them, you know, and maybe believe in the ethos of what they're trying to push, you know, but at the same time, they're not getting the bigger picture, like we're saying, where a big name comes along and does the exact same thing as a person of color, but gets more recognition than the person of color, you know, by basically hijacking the identity of the person of color, you know. So this is something that must be addressed. And I'm glad that you brought it up, bro, because I've always wanted to address it, actually. You know, I've seen it in my music. I mean, I might not have touched on it as bad, but even in Ham, I say it. You vulture, you scavenger, taking out
That's
character.
what I thought of when
my
you
grammar's actually natural.
But that's what I thought of when I heard those
grew up
lines.
speaking like this.
Yeah.
I didn't have to adopt it fucking 10 years later. I didn't have to learn about gangsterism when I was a grown man. I learned about it when I was like fucking 8. Because I had to understand, what does this words mean on the wall here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is that. You know, that's how I was listening to it. You know what I mean? But yo, man, hierdie vraag might get you assassinated by the antwoord. So I'm gonna close it up. You know what I mean?
I have no fear in my heart, bro. I have absolutely no fear in my heart. I mean, I'm already fighting against my own people. The antwoord don't scare me. I'm already fighting against the system. So white people don't scare me. You know, I come to Joburg, I have to deal with black oppression, which is something I never ever
What type of oppression are you dealing with here? Like,
well, I mean, just in terms of, you know, those who are in control of certain media channels, whether it be radio, TV, magazines, because of the strong message I'm trying to send out to the world, because maybe it doesn't coexist with their agendas, and it's maybe not the message that they're trying to, you know, promote. They can't necessarily go full force with the marketing and full force with the promoting of my music and my videos and my visuals, what I'm trying to basically also display visually. It can be a bit intense and it can be a bit harsh, and I get that, you know. But I mean, at the same time, like I said, the greatest thing that they did in this country was turn black people and colored people against each other, because it was the greatest victory of the land by making us enemies instead of allies. And I feel like by me representing my people, it will show black people as well that yes, we have our own culture, but at the same time the struggles are exactly the same. It's an equal struggle. Yes, black people got it worse in apartheid, I will say that, most definitely. But the Cape Flats and the townships, the death toll is equal. Drugs are equal, alcoholism is equal, divorce is equal, women abuse is equal in those places. Just the difference is, one got a roof made out of bricks and one got a roof that's made out of corrugated tin. But neither one of them are living in absolute comfort. And who is?
Yeah, man, I hope someone watches this and firstly removes the stereotypes between black and colored people. I had to call your grandfather out also, and just to say that.
I mean, we had to get it out of the way,
yeah,
as well,
you
to
know,
understand what he was trying to say.
Yeah, but like I just think that it's small things like that that make us divided also.
Yeah.
You know, so
Most
when I
definitely.
heard your grandfather, I said, that's a
Hold up.
problem.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what I
hold
mean?
up. What's this?
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe I hope someone watches this and literally goes, oh shit, this is what it's like. You know,
This is what they've been told.
this is what they've been
made
told.
to believe.
You know, black people think that
That colored people are their enemies, and that we think we're better.
yeah,
you know?
black people think they have this and they good, but they still struggling.
They also struggling,
You know,
bro.
colored people think that they might have straighter hair, better hair, lighter complexion, whatever the case be. But the truth of the matter is
They
that
will never be accepted by the white world.
we
Never
will-
ever.
Well, I don't even care about being accepted in the white world. Is that like
they do.
we are all struggling?
Some of them do, yeah.
Well, some colored people really
They
want
really
to
wanna
be
be
accepted by the white
accepted,
world.
bro.
But what we want to say is that we got to come together.
Yeah.
We got to unite.
Most definitely.
We got to put our ideas together. We got to literally create solutions. And black is black. You know, okay. Black
Brown is brown.
And brown is brown.
Salute.
Brown is brown.
Brown is
but,
brown.
But it's because look.
We all brown.
But look, I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not black.
No,
I'm,
you
I'm
know
brown.
that. That's the thing. Brown
yeah,
is brown.
So
This
brown
is it, yeah.
okay, cool.
We
Under
should
the,
actually change it from black to brown.
then there's gonna
Just
be a war.
imagine how
Then
it
there's
is.
gonna be
Just
another war.
imagine.
There's gonna be
Okay,
another
done.
war. Let's just say.
Just know that
yeah.
the thoughts and ideas held in this interview are those of the individuals speaking for themselves, and none of them are held by Slick on Life Entertainment. Thank
Not
you
at
very much
all.
for knowing that.
But black is black. You know, there was a
Salute.
song called Black is Black.
Yeah.
Black is black. You know, even in America, the Puerto Ricans, they're all going through the same
Yeah.
struggle.
No
Black
doubt.
is black.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even
black
they say the word, yeah, this is my niggas.
yeah, and black
You know?
is killing each other.
Yo, man,
And
bro.
black is impoverished.
only ones losing.
And black doesn't have anything.
We're the only ones
And
losing in
and
this
where the
whole thing.
problem starts is that I said you colored.
Yeah.
I said you Zulu. I said you Xhosa.
And if you look at who's the ones that also said it,
Who's the one that actually like
who's
told
the
us
one that
we're
gave the
tribes?
titles, yeah. If you look at those ones also, you'll notice that most of the time it wasn't even the people that were in those tribes. It was always somebody who had a smarter idea or thought they had a smarter idea in order to separate, and create some sort of tension. Because once you put someone this side and someone that side and something in the middle of value, now you have a war on your hands, And I'm gonna end this interview by saying, colored people feel like they're not black enough to be accepted, they're not white enough to be accepted. So they're somewhere lost in this gray area. But I'm gonna end it off with the way my grandfather ended off the album. The haves must look after the have-nots.
Yeah.
If you have in abundance, see to your poor. Because as the rich, you must help the poor out of the murky waters. Because out of the murkiest water comes the whitest lily. All the lily requires to survive is the nutrients from the mud. And lilies get sold for a shitload of money in Woolworths. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So I know that even though we are faced with so much destruction and turmoil and devastation in our lives as people of color, I know that out of these situations, like you said about diamonds, out of these situations come guys like Slicker, come guys like YoungstaCPT and your amazing team and my amazing team. And without those circumstances that we went through, we wouldn't have been able to be the people we are today. So I'm also thankful that I experienced certain things in my life. I didn't grow up in poverty. I didn't grow up like in hell. For the most part, I created my own hell.
Yeah.
I brought certain things upon myself for wanting to fit in and be accepted. But I realized that out of those experiences through my life, it made me the person I am today. And I don't want to rub anyone the wrong way, but like I said, these are the ugly truths that we need to address at some point in time, And I'm grateful that we did this interview. And the first interview with just me and you alone was
Yes, sir.
brilliant, bro. Salute.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Salute.
very much.
Salute. Yeah, I think your grandfather also said that like if the rich don't help the poor,
It's
they
gonna
also
affect
they're
them.
gonna be affected.
They're gonna
too.
be affected, and they're already being affected by it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
People can't even hike up Table Mountain without getting jacked these
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
White people
yeah.
are scared. They've been locking the doors of the robots for years. So they're already seeing the aftermath of what they have created for themselves. But we hope for the best, and things take time.
Yes, sir. Yo, nice one. We're done. It's the balcony with
can go sleep
YoungstaCPT. It's been fucking real. Yes, sir. Let's get together. Black is black.
Salute us.
That's all I'ma say.
Brown is beautiful, and so is black. I love it.
Black and brown is one thing.
As one. Salute, salute. Indeed.
Broadcast live